Marty Schwartz here with Marty Music. We got a little technique lesson right now. I'm going to break down some of the little trademarks of that Cream era Clapton. Now, I'm not going to claim to make you sound exactly like Clapton because he was so awesome, but I'm just going to give you some cool little techniques that you can think about or try or add to your arsenal. Now, with the power trio, whether it was Hendrix, Zeppelin, Cream, the list goes on and on. Power trios, classic, right? The guitar player, when he's doing his solo, he doesn't have anyone playing chords behind him. So there's maybe a little bit different approach than if you had a rhythm guitar player and a piano player, etc. The more instruments you add, the more you're playing off of that bed that they're laying for you. So in the power trio setting, you have drums, you have bass. Where do you go from there? Nowhere. No. So you crank it up. But this doesn't have to do with a power trio or not, but it does have to do with this Clapton tone that he was going for, that he called the woman tone. And there's nothing really magical about it, but the basic idea is that you're overdriven. So I've got my Schwarzenegger overdrive pedal here. And if I was going, all the tone is turned up all the way, all the volume is turned up all the way, A minor pentatonic scale. Right? So if I go to that neck pickup and I roll that tone all the way down, you'll hear that more nasally, darker tone. It's a lot more syrupy. Now you can play around with that tone knob, And different guitars have different sweet spots. Also, when you play with the volume, so I'm just going to have my tone almost rolled completely down all the way. Just for this video, for fun, why not? We can always mess around more later with that, and you can change it for each song even. It's totally up to you. But I do like to get into this tone for certain types of moments, and it does harken to the Cream kind of vibe. Also, before he was using Strats too. He was using humbucker guitars. The other thing in a power trio setting, not just Clapton, I think of Hendrix a lot with this as well. Since you don't have chords behind you, you're trying to fill up more sound in a power trio. So there's unison bends, where I'm taking one note and taking another note, bending it up. And so you hear it become unison. So for instance, this is an E note right here on the 3rd fret B string. And so if I have the 7th fret G string, which is a D, if I move it up, it becomes an E. So if I bend it up, you hear it become the same note, the unison of that E. Like that. A cool trick, or not a trick, but a cool technique is, and very helpful in many ways, is to know the minor pentatonic or know your scales along one string. So if I can do this unison bend trick, and I know, let's say I was playing, my loop is an A blues. An A blues, A minor pentatonic. If I knew the A minor pentatonic along the B string, for instance, which is the best, thickest, raunchiest, best tone for those unison bends, I know the 5th fret's part of it. And then I know the 8th fret, and the 10th fret, and the 13th fret. So I can do that whole step up G string bend. So so all I did was now you run out of room, but that you can hear it with your ear, but that's the A minor pentatonic on the B string. that was all unison bends. Here, I'm going to get a clean tone. I'm going to just do that A with a loop, and you'll hear that. Now, also with those unison bends, you can do that Chuck Berry boo-da-da, boo-da-da, where they're separate. Unison bends. Now, double stops is another way to play more than one note in your soloing. So classic double stops in the A minor pentatonic would be doubling up on, and so that's the G and B string, and then also the 5th and 7th of that. And then in a classic blues way, the other double stop you would have would be 9 on the G and 8 on the B with your ring and middle. And then you also have the double stops along the A and D string there of that pentatonic. And then also the 5th fret B and high E. I like to use ring and pinky on that 7th fret G and B when you give it some bending. Another one, and we're just staying in the key of A here, is this. And so that's 12 on the high E and 13 on the B, and then 14 on the G. But that's also the A minor pentatonic in that position with the root on the A string. Anything you're doing here, you can do an octave up here. So 5th fret starts over again up on the 17th fret. Now, another technique, especially in that blues rock setting when you're soloing, is mixing a little bit of the major pentatonic and the minor pentatonic, and you most definitely hear it on this kind of thing. so that's all shape-wise coming from the major pentatonic, which is the exact same thing as the F sharp minor pentatonic. Check it out. So the difference is the A note's the root. So if I'm hammering 2 to 4 on the D, and then I've got that root on the 2 of the G. And what's cool is that 9 right there, which is the 4th of the G, can be bent up to major or minor. So that was a minor sound. If I wanted to go straight major, so a lot of stuff you're going to get is this little box right here, and then the straight A minor pentatonic box right here. And it's a feel thing. They all can be mixed together. But what you get a lot is that major over the 1 chord, like when you're playing A. And then on the D, you can go back to the minor. And then E major, you could do either, but you can do the major pentatonic vibes over the 5 chord, the E. And so that's that same spot right there, sliding 11 on the G to 10 on the B. And that's right in what we would call the BB box. And mixing major and minor, you have the whole step here, but then you also have that minor third. You also have this great big bend on the 12 of the high E. And so then with that, there's another thing that you can really, this has more to do with a Clapton kind of thing. Obviously, he's doing bends. So if I just went to the A minor pentatonic, there's certain notes, specifically the minor third and the 7th, where you can just start to bend it up right before it starts to sound out of tune to give that vocal quality. Now, if you were to try that on the root, it sounds terrible. If you were to try it on the 5th, it sounds terrible. But if you do it on the 4th, you're already messing with the blues note. But that next note down is you can do it. The trick is with those, we'll call them micro bends. In this main position, it would be on the 8th fret E. Now the trick is when you start to bend it, you only want to hear it bend up and then to another note. When you hear that bend go back down, it doesn't sound right. But if you're only hearing it go up to another note, which I'm doing, I'm going to the 7th fret D, which is the root. Okay, so that's the first one. The next one is that 5th fret D. So you can hear it go up, or I can hear it go to the 7th fret A string. Now on the root, you can only go vibrato, which is the 7th D. But on that 5th fret D string, the 7th tone there, you bend it up or down. of vocal element, a lot of, you know, soul or of that bluesy element to it. And then so the other one would be on the 5th fret of the G. And what's cool about that is if you bend it and get up to a half step, you're bending it up to the major third, which you get in an A7 chord. You hear guys do that. But even before you get to that major third, that's super bluesy. So the other two spots, and it's those same two notes, just an octave up, would be the 8th fret B string and the 8th fret high E, which can go a little bit micro bend, then up or down. So you can take any two notes, it could be the A major pentatonic, A minor pentatonic right now, and then experiment with the hammer-ons and the pull-offs, or the hammer-on pull-offs. And so what I mean by that is if I'm just right here in this little box, so that's 8-10 on the B, 8-10 on the high E, I could go. So I'm going hammer, and then a quick hammer-on pull-off. And so all I did there was just picked another two notes in the shape of the scale. Any two notes. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed the lesson. I hope you got something from that. Also, don't forget, over at my website, martymusic.com, I've got a ton of courses. If you like this kind of stuff, you should check out my Tasty Zone bundle over there. It's endless hours of concepts like this. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you for that extra support. Let me know what you'd like to see in the comments below, and hope to see you again. Take care.